Okay, y'all. Let me cut this light off behind me because it's messing me up. And I'll talk to y'all in a minute. Yeah. Okay. I just packed some boxes. I cleaned out my back room. It's completely clear. I'm gonna bring those boxes up front. I just have to mop the floor tomorrow, or I'll mop the floor before I leave up out of here. So yeah, y'all, like, this video will come after my behind the scene video of like me going to the different houses and exploring the different houses. And I feel like my brow was off. I look cuter. Let me put my headband back on, y'all. I have my little headband on. I got my lashes on. I thought today would have been the day that my husband came to get me. And let me tell you why I thought that. Because to come in and do something, it gets delayed. So I'm packing boxes. I said I want to stay here, but God gave me a weird. My mouth is popping. My jaw is popping. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. It's legit popping. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. That's my. I had a Dollar Tree. I went to Dollar Tree the other day and got some snacks. Really didn't last that long, but I got some snacks. I'm gonna try not to buy. And the thing about this house is it's farther out, and it's gonna, like, I love that it's secluded. I love that, I'm not going to be bothered by anybody and stuff like that. Um, I already seen the neighbors, I already looked at the house and stuff like that. But I wasn't able to go into the house. So I was kind of like, dang, like, Lord, why? Why wasn't I able to go into the house? And it was something that my boss said, and it wasn't his wife. It was his it was him, which I'm more likely drawn to him more than I'm drawn to his wife. And he was like, I came in one Wednesday, and it was May. It was May. I came in one Wednesday, and he was like, "You here?" He was like, "You here?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, yeah, like, I'm here. So that's how I knew to God and being like, "Hey, God, how do I come to this woman and, show up for this woman and, you know, go to her in the proper way?" Have communication with him, with then him being like, needing a middleman. If there is a middleman that needs to be had, it's between, him, me, and God. So God is the center. Um, so I'm sorry, I just cut it off and cut it back on, wasting my footage. But it can be pulled down. I don't have my work shirt on. But so I was like, Lord, you know, I asked him, I was like, Lord, well, I was like, we, like, if anybody needs to be a middleman, it should be you, between you, me, and him, and stuff like that. So it's just like, why is anything else interfering? Why is anything else, having to come in between that? So right now I'm packing because I don't know what's gonna happen. I wanted to stay here, but when I had the dream about being here and stuff like that, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go. It's time for me to leave. So I, even though I think the house is perfect for me, like, it's enough space. I ain't gonna be too cluttered. I ain't gonna have too much stuff. I'm gonna decrease all. I already done decrease all my stuff. I don't have no couch or anything. Um, so I don't have much, but I can't wait to get back to me, like honestly. And I feel like this is my 313 moment of being able to start over and to live in my truth of, who God called me to be, not out here letting men manipulate me, not because I'm called, not running into witches and warlocks trying to stop and destiny swap and stop me from being in love and stop me from doing all this. So I'm seeing all these people and stuff like that. But yeah, my husband may not know, but I know, like, you're trying to surprise me or you're trying to show up, and there's snakes in the grass that's telling and gossiping about you showing up and basically spilling the beans. Because when my boss was like, "You here?" Like, he was shocked that, like, I was here. And me and my husband, this was before me and my husband, I was like, I'm gonna give my husband back to God. This was before, I was like, I'm gonna surrender him back to God. And what that looks like right now is just me not really, putting other, like, God hasn't really let me pray for him either. God hasn't really let me pray for him. And normally I'm praying for him, or, if God, gives me a dream or something, I'm praying for him. But in this moment, God hasn't let me pray for him because I feel like he's going through, the conviction of him not showing up at all or even trying to show up. Let me see. Um, Let me try to go back to so I can tell y'all when my husband, and I need to start writing it down. But let me pause y'all. So about 6 months ago, about 6 months ago is when he knew, like, hey, I may should put some effort. It's, I may should put, and that's why I tell people, like, even though I'll be like, we ain't had no communication, it's just like, we haven't had normal communication. God has given us communication through the spirit. Like, I showed y'all, like, me shedding tears and stuff like that, and I was like, this is my husband's emotions. And that's been about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying, y'all. Like, I don't know why I'm crying or sensitive, but, you know, yeah, that was 4 weeks ago. That was a month ago. And it was just like, I don't know why I'm crying and stuff like that, but, you know, it was like, it was before I gave my husband back, because I just gave my husband back to God the beginning of this month, because it was just like, I knew my husband, like, when I told y'all my husband has been in close proximity to me, he has. And, I was asking God, like, hey, God, like, should I be selfish in, doing this or doing that? Like, should I be selfish in, having this or doing that and stuff like that? And it's just like, Lord, please help me to, understand that, what is going on. Because it was just like, Lord, should I be selfish, or should I actually be like, well, what if my husband doesn't like this, or what if my husband doesn't like that? And it's just like, God was like, showing, like, if you message this man and tell him something exciting and something, that you have going on, and you want a response, and he doesn't respond, he's not ready. And you have to get to that mindset. And I hate that other people, are basically being like, oh, spectators and stuff like that, because my husband has tried to come towards me. but he told the wrong people. I rather him came towards me and he sent the letter, he sent, he sent the email, he did something like that and was like, hey, let's go to let's go to this place downtown. Let's go to Texas Roadhouse. Let's go to this place. You know, let's go to this place. I done rented out a little spot to where we're gonna eat and they're gonna serve us and stuff like that. And it's just like, I deserve that. And God keeps showing me like the number. He been speaking to me in numbers and it's driving me crazy. But he's been showing me the numbers of you worth it. And this morning I was like, I was still seeing 143, 143, 143. And I was like, Lord, is this, is this something that, you want me to, it's like, is this something that you want, how do I say? It's like, Lord, is this something that you want me to think about? And, it's sad because I wanted to think about my husband and I wanted to, be like, Lord, well, what if he comes like soon as I move, he comes 3 months later and I'm only 3 months into my lease? Or what if he comes when I'm this amount of time in my lease or that amount of time and I'm only a few weeks in my lease? Like, who's going in? And it's just like at that time, it's stuff you can't think about. So I'm going to the house that I like. I'm going to the house that I feel like I deserve. Yes, it's gonna cost me a little bit more. Honestly, I was about to pay 900 and something for rent, and this one is cheaper and stuff like that, but it's gonna cost me more on the back end when it comes to me getting back and forth to work. So it's gonna cost me a little bit more in that way. But when it comes to like how much it costs in rent, it's not gonna be bad at all. So it's like give and take. So but I'm gonna work on getting me a car next. I'm gonna work on getting a car. Um that's the next goal, because I can't sit back and be like, Lord, well, if he comes and swoop me off my feet, I don't want to have a car that I have to, drive wherever and, do this and do that. And it's just like, until this man comes into your life, I had to realize this with God. Until this man comes into your life, he will know a game plan. He will come to me with a game plan and all of that. But God is moving me forward to different things, and I can't keep being in that same spot. I can't keep being in the same area and stuff like that, because at a certain point, I want to be somewhere to where I know that, ain't nobody finna mess with me and all of this stuff. And I'm gonna be, chilling and cooling and all of this. So it's just like, this is my start over. Like, if my husband comes and stuff like that, I will be in a place to where he can come without anybody interfering. He can come and we can chill. We can have a conversation. Ain't too many people gonna be looking and prying and all of this stuff and trying to manipulate the situation. But yeah, like, there has been a lot of talk. even with the stuff that I was telling Instagram, like, I was telling my husband about this. I was telling my husband about this. It's just like, even with that stuff, it's been like some of that stuff has been said too. So yeah, like, my husband probably has to go and do like ground control. How do you say it, Lord? How do you say crowd control or damage control? Like, who's telling what? But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I don't know when my husband is coming, but I gotta get out this house. Like, I gotta get out this house. Like, I don't feel spiritually peaceful unless that man is gone. And then it's just like, yeah, so yeah, it's time for me to leave. It's time for me to leave. I'm glad I haven't brought I've been decreasing the amount of food that I ordered and all of this. I'm gonna order some pizza for the rest of the week and stuff like that. But yeah, like I'm getting up out of here. So let me show. I just packed this box right here. It's a Walmart box that I had. It's still new and still fresh. It was in the closet in the back. It's full of stuff that reminds me of my husband and stuff for future. Because I'm prepared for, and I probably shouldn't tell y'all all this, but that's what that like I got him a gift and a gift. I got him a gift and I got him a gift and stuff like that. So yeah, it's stuff for the future. Like whenever he comes and stuff like that, whenever he shows up, he will and be present, because 6 months ago he knew like, hey, like maybe I should call and say like, hey, how you doing? Maybe I should call and be like this or say this and stuff like that. But I can't stay here any longer. And it's getting down to the wire to where it's just like, I tried to communicate with you and I tried to, ask you like, hey, like, what are you doing? Because like I knew the only thing I needed him to do, the only thing I needed him to say was, hey, I'm proud of you. Do what you need to do for yourself right now, because I'm still, and I don't know why, every time I'm connected to a man, every time they make the decision not to communicate, they make the decision, and it only hurts them. They make the decision not to communicate, and it ends up being a situation to where it's just like, okay, well, I got to, and I'm smarter now. This like between the years of, after I got separated in 2023, I wasn't that smart. But, God was training me and God was showing me different things. But, I don't know what video I said this, but I said that it would be sad that someone else will come in and help you other than the person that's supposed to be helping you. So the person that I'm supposed to be connected to is my husband. I know we have stuff to do. I know we have things that we have to, we have to come into agreement and we have to get in alignment. So yeah, like he hasn't said nothing. He hasn't communicated with me. So guess what? I'm gonna sign a new lease. And I was, procrastinating about it because I'm like, Lord, I was like, dang, like I'm gonna be shelling out way more money than I want to. But now it's car search time. Now it's time. And my grandma asked me like, hey, do you want me to get you a car and stuff like that? Do you want me to, help find you a car? And I'm like, no, and all of that. But at this point, I'm like, yeah, like I need a car. And it's not a substitute for, because at first I really didn't want a car, because it's just like, Lord, if my husband comes, like what I'm gonna do with this car? like what am I do with this car? What I'm gonna do with all this stuff that I got? Like, merging two households together, it's just like, that's a headache. So what I'm gonna do with all this stuff? So, I'm ready now. Like I'm ready for, and it's so funny because even if I said in my other video, I did delete it. I was on Instagram being like, I'm gonna delete the video. I said on my other video that, I don't know if God was showing me 143 for my husband or 143 for him. And I think God has really been showing and pouring out his love for me. And that's why he was showing me 212, because, it means pride, it means boasting, prideful, and stuff like that. I'm like, Lord, is that something negative that my husband is going through, like him being having pride and ego and not wanting to talk and not wanting to come up and say anything because his pride. Um, but at the same time, I also looked at it in the scripture reference, and it was just like all this work that you've done, all this stuff that you, and it's just like all this stuff that, I was doing like from years ago. Because I'm like, Lord, I know this is a temporary space. I knew this space that I was in is temporary. So I'm like, Lord, I'm like, for all this work that I've done, everything that you told me with the, side missions and stuff. And I pray that I get good neighbors and stuff like that. I pray, they are holy and they're they know something about God or have a relationship about with God and stuff like that, and kind hearted. Um, so yeah, like I'm excited and I am ready to I am ready to to start this new journey. I'm ready for y'all to see too. I'm ready for y'all to see too. So the next part of this video will be me in a new house. I don't know how I'm gonna do the behind the scenes videos. I probably cut them out to go to an apartment building that was cheaper, and they had everything. They had the gym, like the water, the pool, and all of this stuff. But at the same time, I don't like when it comes to me getting groceries and when it comes to me doing, like all of that stuff. Like I want to be comfortable and I don't want nobody else taking my stuff and taking my groceries and all of this stuff. So I think this is a perfect house for me. I think where I'm going is perfect. And I now just have to do this table. Y'all look at my table. I took my husband's gift off of it so y'all can look at it. Look. Look. So it looks a mess. I forgot those legs do that. But I gotta do my table, so that's gonna be another box. And then I'm gonna put my dishes in a small box, and I'll probably have like 3 of those. And then my food is probably going in another box. I think I'm gonna wake up early in the morning to do that. But I'm finna, chill. I'm finna watch Make It Happen, Mr. Make It Happen, on the channel with his friends. So it's Make It Happen Media. I'm finna watch that. They're frying some fish, so I'm about to watch that and stuff like that. But yeah, most of my house is clear and clean, and I think this is just what God has been preparing me for. And it's so funny because I seen 1, 2, 3. So how my POS is set up, I had 1 check that was open, so that was 1. And then I had 23 checks that was closed, so there was 2 and 3. And then I also had someone who just ordered a order that said 123. And people can call me crazy and be like, well, we know who your husband is and like his status and all of this and all of that. And like, you should have went and you should have went to him and, did this and did that and all of this. And it's just like, he will come to me when he's ready. He will come to me when he's ready. He'll come to me when he's fully ready to commit. He'll come to me. I can't force him. I can't make him, and I don't want to. Like I did that in the past years with the man, and it was the same thing. I had no communication other than being like it was like a certain communication. And I feel like God be replacing these men, honestly, because it's just like if you don't want to surrender to God, God is gonna replace you. But with my husband, I knew like I got a piece from my husband, and I knew that like he was my husband. So me trying to date somebody else other than when he rejected me. Okay? When my husband rejected me, I was like, okay. Like when he first came around, when I first found out about my husband, I was excited and stuff like that. But then he rejected me. And instead of and that's one of the things I want y'all to get from the video is, and see from my life is that you can't reject the person that God is calling you to be with. Be a grown up, be grown up, act your age and be like, hey, like right now, God doesn't have me in a place to where I can come to you. I still want to be in my free will. My husband, and this is what my husband said. My husband was like, I got free will. And it's not funny. It's not funny. He was like, I got free will. And it's just like, you do. You absolutely do. But at the end of the day, when God is calling two people together, that's not how it works. Like when God is calling two people together and y'all supposed to be doing something to where it's supposed to cause other people to come into agreement with Christ, come into agreement with, Jesus and get a personal relationship with him, because at first, and this is just the honest truth, at first, my husband, I thought my husband was just going to be someone that I network with, because the person that, that person that I was, years ago, like my husband, I got a dream. I got the dream from about my husband years ago. So God didn't give me knowing that he was my husband until 2 years ago. So when it comes to just when it comes, I'm sorry, y'all. When it comes to just knowing and being about my husband, it was so peaceful. Like, I knew that, I was looking into something that was going to happen in the future. And I'm like, okay, Lord, like, I don't know why you give me this dream, because this person, I felt like my husband was not someone who I would go for, because, I'm the type of person to where it's just like, I want to build with my husband. I don't mind my husband being in a, Boaz state of, thing or anything like that. I don't mind that. But, I want to build, like, wanted, who in the Bible built together? Maybe Abraham and Sarah? I don't know. I don't know, but maybe Abraham and Sarah, or maybe I can't tell you. I can't tell you who started from the bottom. Is like started from the bottom, now we here. But yeah, like I wanted to build with my husband and create with my husband. So when God gave me the dream, someone had already showed interest in me. And this is funny because, he wasn't a bad person. He did have some spirits on him and stuff like that. But I feel like if God, if I would have, I shed too many tears. I was hurt so bad by him that I feel like it was God training me up for my husband. But I was, I felt so hurt by him to where it was just like, it was just like, why, it was a situation to where it was like, why didn't you choose me? Like, why didn't, like, I'm sitting here in front of your face I wouldn't say 24/7. And that's probably why, because I asked God, like, Lord, I was like, please let me separate from him. Please, I don't, but God was like, kept being like, no, 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 do not separate from him. Um, but because I felt like I'm doing too much. You know, when you feel like you're doing too much, it's just like I'm doing too much. I'm doing way more in like this new singleness that I'm enjoying and I'm coming into. I was like, Lord, I am doing too much. I was like, I am doing too much with this man, and I'm giving him too much time with him giving me no effort at all. So he was interested. He showed interest in stuff like that. And I felt like we could have grown so much together. Like from starting businesses, elevating the business, um, doing different things and stuff like that. It was so funny because, sometimes you have to look at people and see because sometimes they can have spirits on them and the spirits speak. This man legit was like, write a book, that's what God was calling me to do, and stuff like that. So it's just like, huh? So, nunny, like, but yeah, so it's just like, and the last time I seen him was like January, and this was kind of before, I really found out about my husband and stuff like that, but I was still, being like we can be cool or cordial or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to beef with him. I think that, he's a decent person and stuff like that. I just feel like he's in a world to where it was just like influence, like everybody was influencing him to do the wrong thing. He was trying to stop drinking, everybody influenced him to drink. He was trying to, get this off the ground. I'm the only one being like, hey, yeah, like, being that friend, that person, being like, hey, yeah, like, you can do that. Like, man, like, you up, like, you got stuff to do. Like, I spent so much time praying for him and stuff like that. So when God gave me the dream about my husband, I was like, okay, Lord. So, like, I was like, I know who that is, but I was like, I don't want to say, because in the dream we looked like we was in a relationship. We looked like we was, together and stuff like that, or trying to create something. But it wasn't as chaotic as it is now in the natural. Like, it was very much peaceful. It was very much mellow. Like, you know, family was involved and stuff like that. So it was just like a peaceful, mellow situation. It was not chaotic like it is now. I don't know why my husband chose to, it's like, did you pray and ask God if you should have told people that, like, you wanted to how do I say, that you wanted to, come and, visit or pop up or show up or all of that stuff. So yeah, we here with it, cuz yeah, like, he didn't, necessarily, like, when I messaged him, I hadn't talked to him since November and stuff like that. So when I messaged him, I'm like, okay, Lord, it's been a minute. Like, I started back talking about him on Instagram and stuff like that. Cause at first, like, I wasn't talking about him because we was in separation. Like, that separation that happened in the first beginning was because, he rejected me. He was like, I want to go with my free will. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, but I learned my lesson not to, date anybody, not to, talk to anybody while you go do your free will. Like, I already learned my lesson. I'm gonna sit my butt down somewhere. Because when God say no, God say no. When God say somebody is your husband or your wife, that's your husband or your wife. So I was like, shoot, God already knocked me down a couple pegs with with that person. And it's just like, I know that my husband will be good to me and stuff like that, but he hasn't showed up. So yeah, like I got my box of personal stuff. I gotta get this stuff off the table. So 9 times out of 10, like I got so many journals and books and stuff like that. Everything else just went in the trash. Um, look, it just went in the trash. It just went in the trash. I still got to go up in this bathroom and get like hair dryers, blow dryers, and that type of stuff. I'm gonna just throw that in a big box and put it in and then I gotta do a cleaning box for the stuff under the kitchen counter. But yeah, so most of the stuff is in this living room, except for my bed and that TV and stuff like that. Most of this stuff is in the living room and is ready to go. It is ready to go. But yeah, I wasn't going to do the house that was so far out because it cost me way more for Ubers. It cost me way more. But then I'm like, you know, this is something, it's like God being like, I love you. You worth it. Like, do something for yourself. Because I was just about to pay 9 something for man. When I say this house it wasn't my style because the kitchen wasn't, the kitchen wasn't white. But when I say it was 2 bedrooms, the kitchen was nice, and then it also had like it had like a bathroom, and they denied me. They denied me. And it had the concrete stained floors. But because I'm working at the place I'm working, I am not able to get, I am not able to how do I say? But how I was saying, I am not able to be approved for something that's like 975 unless I have a roommate. I would have got a roommate though. I would have found somebody to be a roommate. Nah, I'm just playing. But I'm about to go and be isolated, and I'm gonna just spend time with God. I'm gonna give me some headphones. And I'm just gonna pray. It got that prayer closet. That's what I was talking about. Cause like I posted on Instagram like coming soon, because like I seen somebody with a prayer closet and stuff like that. And I'm gonna put my future stuff, and like I'm gonna put my husband's gift in there and like all my future stuff that I have, and that's going in the prayer closet. I'm gonna put like one of those little LED lights and put my fairy lights. If y'all look at my Instagram, I had put the fairy lights in my hair. Somebody had like a wedding reception, and that also triggered me too, because somebody had a wedding reception. What day was that? Hold on, y'all. It was the week of the 14th. So they had their wedding on the 13th of June. And even with that, I was like, that's a little bougie for me. Like, that's a little bougie when it comes to, but yeah, like it's been, and my husband can't get mad or anything. Even with me doing this video, he can't get mad with just hearing my side of the story, with like, especially how people was acting. Only people would know, well, other than being like me being like, I gave my husband back to God. It wasn't a situation to where it was just like I broke up with him. It was a situation to where it's just like, why, instead of just popping up and showing up, why can't you say, hey, how you doing? And even if you're gonna pop up and show up, pop up and show up. Like, I've been waiting. I thought he was coming in February, y'all. But February, he ended up still being in close 6 hours away from me. 6 hours away. And what if I did that to him? What if my husband was like, hey, like, if we did have communication, what if he was like, hey, like, I really want to, we really want you to, show up, like, come towards me. Like, I came towards you and stuff like that, and we met and we went out on dinner and stuff like that. Say we went out on dinner, and then say that my husband was like, hey, like, do you have time? Like, I see you going to this place and going to that place. And do you have time to, stop and visit me? Like, it's been a few months. Like, I haven't heard from you. I haven't talked to you and stuff like that. Like, I want to see your face. But I'm over here, say I'm over here in Kansas, going to like, because I really I'm a Kansas fan. So I say I'm in Kansas going to a football game, and then say I'm in New York, and I'm in New York, and I'm just doing this and doing that, and visiting New York and seeing all this, the billboards and all of this stuff. And then he's messaging me like, hey, like, I see that you be safe and all of this stuff. And it's just like, I see that you are out and about, like, I want to see you. So, and the thing about it is, yes, I could have pulled up on my husband. I could have did that. But what if you pull up on a man when a man's supposed to pursue, what if you pull up on a man and he's with another female? What if you pull up on a man and he's in another relationship? And so I'm going to finish this later, but yeah, y'all, like, I'm packing up. I need to do this table, do my kitchen. I need to cook some eggs and stuff like that. That's the only thing I really have in the fridge. But yeah, like, I have my Swiffer, my steamers and all of that. Those have to go with me. I brought my printer out of the back room. So in the next couple days, I'll be getting my thing that my TV is on, that stand together. And then by the end of it, by the time that I have to get up out of this place, I will be, but yeah, like, I'm excited, but I'm also like, oh my goodness, like, it's gonna be such a different place, different environment. But I want to just be in the house, praise and worship God, isolated. But I'm gonna still make it, and I'm gonna be far out. So, since my grandma was like, hey, you want me to help you get a car? And I was kind of like, no, I don't want you to help me to get a car, because I felt like, well, because at first I was like, no, I don't want you to help me get a car, because, you're gonna have some type of, being like, oh, like, what happened to it, or what's this doing? But she knows I take care of my car, and I'm gonna pay for it and stuff like that, and I'm gonna be careful, and I'm gonna be watching and all that stuff. But yeah, I might have to go ahead and be like, Grandma, can you find me a car? Because she asked me again the other day. She was like, you sure you don't want me to help you find a car? And I was like, well, I want to get some type of, insurance and stuff like, but it's just like, if someone is offering to help me, I might as well take it. Because, at this point, it's not about like, well, Lord, he's showing me all these signs of him coming. He's showing me all of these signs that, especially when my boss was like, you here? But honestly, even when I got a phone call one day, y'all, I told y'all, I got a phone call one day about, it was in May. No, it was in April, for like the end of April to May. And it's just like, so it's like, boss, what you talking about? Like, you here? We can wait and we can wait. And I even told my husband, I was like, I can wait and wait and wait for you, but I can't wait and wait and wait for you, because God has stuff for me to do. So whoever I connect with that I need creatively to help bring my visions to life and stuff like that, I'm gonna have to get connected to some people who I need to help me do this, help me do that. Because at first I thought me and my husband was just gonna be network. Like I thought it was just gonna be a network situation because I knew that from where he is in life and stuff like that. I'm like, Lord, well, I love to networking with him and stuff like that. That I wouldn't mind that. But, give me some pointers here and there. Tell me like what I should be doing and helping me out. Because I actually listen. But, at the same time, it's just like I was like, Lord, I don't know about a relationship. I don't know about a relationship back then. But, it is what it is. But yeah, y'all. So let me go because I'm hungry. I'm actually hungry. So I might wash the dishes and cook me something. But yeah, y'all. So I'm packing up. Like I'm gonna pack my dishes. I'm gonna order some pizza for the rest of the week. So I might order two. Like normally I order two things because it gotta last me. But yeah, because I was telling them, I was like, it's too far out. It's too far out. I really didn't want to, like the other house, you had to go through Main Street. And I was like, I would never want to drive through here. It was like, I would never want to drive through here. But yeah, like my husband, I was like, I got to live life. Like I can't sit here and be stuck in this one house, this one place just because like, oh, well, he knows where I'm at. He knows this. And it's just like, well, he gonna have to find me now. Like he gonna have to search. He gonna have to do this. He gonna have to do that. He gonna have to find me now. And that's okay. He gonna have to ask God or he gonna use like some of his people to find me. But, at the end of the day, I'm thankful that God is transitioning me because at first, it was so funny because I was like, in 2025, I was like, Lord, wait a minute. I was like, this was about me. I was like, wait a minute, Lord. I was like, this was about me. Like I was doing all these side missions and stuff like that. I was like, this was about me. And it really, now it really is like if he's not here, if that person, no matter if that's a man, no matter if that's a woman, if they're not in your life yet, it's about you and God. And you have to do what God is calling you to do. If God is telling you like, hey, like I need you to stop this, I need you to go here, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, go. Because God probably gave this person, this man or woman, so many confirmations, so many different things to where, and I give my husband grace. I do give husband, I love you. I absolutely love you. And I give you grace. I give you grace. I give you mercy. I am patient with you. Okay. But when it comes to God being like, hey, like, this is not an environment, you growing out of this environment, I have to spread, like I have to leave. Like I have to move when God says move because God is the first. God is the Alpha and Omega of my life. So, when God is like, hey, like, I know I done gave him so many confirmations, so many this, so many that. And, just because he's not doing what I'm telling him to do, I have this for you. And that's how I wanted it to be, husband. That's how I wanted it to be. I was like, I've always said like, hey, if your husband is not doing this, if your wife is not doing this, if your wife is not communicating with you, if you're trying to tell her like, hey, God had told me this about you, told me that about you. If they're not listening and stuff like that, ask God for something. God, like, I just said, like, when I was working, I was like, Lord, I was like, my husband, I know he's not doing what he's supposed to do. I know he's not, coming towards me like he's supposed to do, like he's supposed to. And I was like, I always ask for you to confirm. I always ask you for you to confirm that, you know, I always ask that you confirm, like when it comes to like, if they're not communicating, if they're not doing this and stuff like that. And it's just like, if it's something you want to, like, if you want to take a trip and you want to take a trip with your husband and stuff like that, go on a solo trip with God. Ask God, like, hey, God, like, I know I wanted to go this place with my husband and stuff like that, but will you allow me to go to this place? And if you don't want me to go to the place that, I was supposed to go with my husband, like, will you allow me to go this place, or will you allow me to go that place? And see if God approves, see if God will let you do it. But yeah, like, I'm so patient with my husband and stuff like that. And it was just like, it wasn't no situations where it was just like, I'm breaking up with him. I can't break up with him. Like, I can't break up with him. I can, but I can't break up with him. It was a situation to where it was just like, he's still not, communicating. Like, he didn't give me like, I'm proud of you, keep going, keep doing what you need to do for yourself. He didn't, it's just like, when you in this journey of God putting you together, communicate, be grown, and tell the person, because I dealt with this in the other situation. I would say situation, it wasn't a relationship, because they have to come into agreement with you, and they have to come and actually not play games, and actually come into agreement with you, and tell you like, hey, like, I want to be in a relationship. Until then, y'all are separated. Until then, until they come. I told my coworker, I was like, girl, yeah, I just did my nails, and guess what? I ain't got my ring on. I ain't got my purity ring on either, but I'm gonna get me one. But yeah, so I was telling her, I was like, yeah, girl. I was like, yeah, like, I ain't got my ring on, but I sure did do my nails. But yeah, that, those type of situations, they hurt me, because it's just like, when I did start talking to my husband and seeing if he'll communicate with me and stuff like that, he didn't communicate at all. And it was just like November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So 7 months. 7 months between the time that I last had spoken to him and the time that, I spoken to him again, to see like, okay, Lord, maybe he matured now. Maybe he has came out of whatever he has came out of, and understand like, hey, I need to communicate. Like, I need to come to her. I don't have a problem with him coming to me without any communication. I don't have an issue with that. But it's like, when I am communicating, when I am trying to communicate back. Don't ignore me. Communicate back. Because I know he's seen it, because like I said, it was whispers, it was talks. Like, I know he's seen what I was, what I was saying to him. It's a long journey. And, most people wouldn't say anything, and most people would just be like, my husband was the most perfect. And it's just like, no, tell the journey of God bringing you together with someone else. But y'all, I'm packing. What's in here is so important. So important to my journey. I didn't put it in my suitcase or anything. Ooh, I kind of hurt my back. But I didn't put it in my suitcase or anything. But it's important. I don't know if I'm going to do another video, but the next video y'all will see, I will be in another house. So, yeah, like, I told him I keep my promises. Like, hold on, let me pause y'all. But I ain't going to share all the stuff that I said, but I said I will vlog I was like, I will vlog my move, or you will see the environment change. And I told him I can't delay, you know, God moving in my life, or He's about to watch God move me forward, and watch God, you know, increase in me without Him. And that's sad. And that's something I've been talking about for months now, because I'm like, Lord, like, I don't want to leave Him behind. Like, I don't want to just be like, oh, well, you know, God is moving me, but, you know, you have to do the work. You have to do the work and stuff like that, and you have to, you know, surrender different things to Him. And, you know, I was like, you know, I can't delay and, you know, just sit in this house for years and years and still having plumbing issues for years and years and years, and not get the house, not get the car, not get this, not get that, not get little Toto that I was talking about. So it's just like, you know, I can't delay my life. I can't delay my life just waiting on Him. And the thing is, a man will use that and be like, oh, like God is putting us together. Like, I feel like the little light-skinned one, and I don't even date light-skinned men. I feel like the light-skinned one took advantage of that, because it was just like, you know, I kind of felt like God was calling me to, you know, be with Him and stuff like that, but He did not want to come into agreement with it. And, you know, I know my husband loves me, but my husband hasn't showed up. And when my boss was like, you here? Like, on that Wednesday, I was like, you know, I could have been mad at my husband, like, messaging him, like, instead of being like, hey, husband, like, be careful, take care of yourself, and, you know, all of this gone on a Wednesday. But I love you guys. I'll see y'all in the new house and stuff like that. This video will be put out sometime in July. I would say probably like second, third week in July. I'm gonna get myself together, get my stuff together, and that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it ain't. Okay. So yeah, like, but yeah, I got denied the house. It was 2 bedrooms, stained concrete throughout. It had different shades of brown. Like, the house was tea. When they be like the body was tea, the house was tea, y'all. But they denied me, and I was like, you know what, Lord, you know I love a crisp white. So I was like, you know what, it's a little further out than I want to be, but, you know, it's okay, because the only places I really go is to work and home, and then sometime I'll go out to eat or something like that. And honestly, the way this place is set up, I'm gonna be cooking at home, and that's fine with me. Okay, unless I'm headed towards work or something, that's fine with me. But I love you guys. I'll see you guys later. I love you. I love you. I love you. And welcome to the new home.